We are talking Detroit Lions news today. A lot to cover because we had a great game yesterday, and there's some things that we got to get into. The playoff picture. Do the Detroit Lions have a legitimate shot to make the playoffs? Well, I got each team I broke down. We'll look through it and give you an assessment right there. Also, Jameson Williams, the amount of plays and snaps that he took. We're going to talk about that. The draft. Yes, we got to talk about the draft because the Rams pick, not the Detroit Lions. And some interesting things potentially that could be added to this team because a player was just released. But before we get into today's video, if you are a fan of relaxing on your recliner, watching a Lions game, and you're chill because the Lions are ahead, and you get to relax for a change, go ahead and subscribe to my channel because we talk all things Detroit Lions news and rumors. Sometimes being a Lions fan, you can actually relax during a game. Also, take that like button with you and let that bad boy get a win. Let's get into today's Lions news. First off, we're going to talk about the Lions versus the Minnesota Vikings. Right now, Vegas has Minnesota as the favorite of 2.5 points. Just 2.5 points. That's all they got in this game. And I think that is proper. You'd think it'd be more because of their win total versus ours. But it's a home game for the Detroit Lions. And I think people are starting to turn heads for the Lions potentially pulling an upset and getting a victory. So not bad right there. I tell you what, I think the Lions could cover on this one, and we'll get into that later down the week. But right now, folks, I'm at 28,884 subscribers. 16 more, and we're at 28,900. So if you ain't subscribed and you're one of those 16 that haven't, go ahead and hit that subscribe button right now so you don't miss out on the latest news and rumors regarding our Detroit Lions. Let's get into Jameson Williams. And if you're watching the game, you clearly heard the crowd chant, "We want J-Mo, we want J-Mo," because J-Mo wasn't getting featured a lot in this game. It was his debut game. But, even I wanted to see him. Even I felt like, man, I would love to see Jameson Williams. But the Detroit Lions decided to only play him 8 snaps. That's 11% of the offensive snaps that took place, and it was the smart move. Why was it the smart move? Because, folks, let's be honest here, you don't want a player like him getting injured when you have this game sealed up. The offense was firing all cylinders. In all honesty, you didn't need Jameson Williams to win this game. Again, we expected limited snap counts anyways. We didn't know how limited. 8 was proper, targeted 1 time. And generally throughout the week, he was just practicing with the practice squad, in all honesty. So he'll get more practice time this week. His feet under him. And I am sure he'll get more snaps versus the Minnesota Vikings game. So hold on. We will be getting Jameson Williams. Let's talk about the playoff picture. Can the Detroit Lions right now, at 5 wins, make the playoffs? Well, let's look at it right now. We have a legitimate shot. Now, there's 3 wild card spots, and I didn't even put the Dallas Cowboys on this list. Why? Because we're not going to beat. We already lost Dallas Cowboys, and they're at 9 wins. So we are looking at these 3 teams in realistic. It is Seattle, Giants, and Washington. That is the teams that we got to focus on. So how can the Detroit Lions get that shot? Well, I'm going to go after worst case scenario to best case scenario. That's where I'm going to go here. First off, I think what's going to be hard is to jump over the Washington Commanders because they got 4 games left. They face the Giants, 49ers, Browns, Cowboys. The 49ers just lost Jimmy Garoppolo, even though they got a stout D. The Browns, they got their quarterback back, Deshaun Watson, and Dallas Cowboys, really good team, but maybe have stuff locked up by then. I think it's going to be a difficult pass to jump them, but it's possible. because they only got 4 games left. It is possible. I think it's going to be a little bit more difficult for the Lions to get ahead of Commanders. Second round I have here is actually getting ahead of the Seattle Seahawks. Now, we lost to Seattle, so they own the tiebreaker, but the Panthers here, they're not that good. 49ers, they have an opportunity there. Their defense is extremely good, and I tell you what, I think they could get it done. Chiefs are the Chiefs. We all know they're really good. One of the best teams in the NFL. Jets there, pretty good team. And I do believe they'll beat the Rams the final week of the season. So it's going to be difficult to jump those 2 teams, in all honesty, right here. Before we get to the final team and how I think the Lions potentially can make the postseason, do you think that Ben Johnson, our offensive coordinator, could potentially become a head coach after this season? Lions offense is absolute fire. It's done a fantastic job. He's done a great job with play calling. Let me know in the comments section why for yes and for no, do you believe he will become a head coach? Now, the final team on my list that I think the Lions have a shot to potentially jumping and making that 8th seed is the New York Giants. The Lions own the tiebreaker here, but it's their schedule that's daunting. The Philadelphia Eagles is going to beat them. The Commanders, even though it says the Commanders, I think could beat them. The Vikings could beat them. Indianapolis Colts, that's probably a win for them right there. And the Philadelphia Eagles, they could have stuff locked up. They could. But they're right now sitting at 9 wins. Or if they were to win 2 of these games, that would give them 9 wins. So we have to see, but maybe the Eagles win. And the Detroit Lions, subsequently, would have to win out, in my opinion, to make the playoffs. Can they win out? It's possible they could. The 2 biggest teams, obviously, is the Vikings on Sunday, the New York Jets in the Meadowlands. Those 2 teams are going to be really difficult. I think they have a shot to win both. In all honesty, it's going to be really tough. Really, really tough. I think that Giants and Commanders tie really hurt the Lions in a big way, because you wanted one of those teams to take an L, and it didn't happen. We'll see going forward. But the Lions, to me, would have to win out. They have to get to 10 wins, and that will get them to the postseason. It is what it is. Let's continue on here. Let's talk about the NFL draft. And right now, the Detroit Lions are... I'm not worried about where the Lions are picking at 15. I'm not really focused on that. It's that Rams spot. So now we move from 3 to 4, and we're sitting at 4. So we got to hope Denver wins. But the Rams, if they lose on Sunday, they will move, I believe, to the 3 spot. Initially, I'd have to look at it or bet, but pretty sure they will. Rams schedule here. The Raiders have been playing really good as of late. I do think they lose there. The Packers are better than them. Yeah, I got Stafford on here. He's done for the season. I get it. But I should still put him on there. Broncos, that's a game that they could win. Denver absolutely is terrible. Chargers, I have them winning that game. In Seattle, I have them winning that game. So I think for the Lions, there's really one game we got to be worried about. That's the Denver Broncos. I'm not worried about the rest of them. I think the rest will win. Yeah, the Raiders' schedule, they've just been playing a lot better as of late. They have been playing better as of late. So it's looking like the Detroit Lions will get a top 5 pick for sure. Potentially up to the number 2 pick. I think that's the best spot the Lions going to get. Houston Texans are absolutely terrible. They're going to be picking first. I think the best spot that we can get is picking 2. And from that point, I want to pick 2. I'm pretty much now, I feel like I'm locked in at Jalen Carter with the pick. I'm afraid if we pick 3, he won't be there. I love Will Anderson, I do. But Jalen Carter, the defensive tackle, is an absolute game wrecker, a game changer. And I think if you were able to get him on this team, it would absolutely change the dynamic from the Lions' defense. From right now, it's been playing for the last 5 weeks mid-defense to damn scary, to top 10. And if you were to bring this offense back relative to what it is right now with the same personnel, maybe a little bit switched up there with a few key players, and getting the Lions with the top 10 defense, the Lions could win the NFC North next year. They really could. So I really want to get that number 2 pick. I want Jalen Carter in a big way. I really, really do. I'm really kind of sort of locked in there. I guess Will Anderson's definitely not a bad consolation prize since he is absolutely a beast too, but man, having Carter in there would be scary. Now, lastly and surely least, the Carolina Panthers are going to release Baker Mayfield. That's crazy. They're going to go put him on waivers. If the Lions have an opportunity to pick him up from the waiver wire, would you do it? It'd be a backup quarterback. It wouldn't be obviously to play anything. I'm fine with what we got. I would say right now, no, in all honesty, because I think Jared Goff's playing at a high level. Sudfeld is fine for the last 6 games, and just go get a rookie, maybe in the draft at some point in the draft, later in the draft, mid to later in the draft. I think that would be fine, but I'm not wanting to get up and pick up Baker Mayfield at this point. But, hey, he's about to be released, so I figured I would ask you guys to see what you think. Let me know in the comment section on that one. We got videos dropping every single day. Get ready for the videos on my channel. We got the Lions versus the Vikings breakdown on Wednesday. Big video there. One Pride podcast Thursday. Sunday, Lions versus Vikings, a live watch party for the biggest game of the year. With that said, folks, adios.